I always thought we were happy. Married for 17 years, 2 kids, and a small but thriving family-owned construction business. My wife, Anna, had always been my anchor. Until I saw the message. It was a Tuesday night. She left her phone on the kitchen counter when she went to shower. I wasn't snooping, but it buzzed. A message preview lit up. I miss the way you taste. Last night was perfect. My stomach dropped. I opened the message thread. It was weeks of exchanges. Intimate. Explicit. Emotional. Not just sex. This was a relationship. The worst part? It was someone I knew. A name I saw nearly every day. My brother, Ryan. I sat there frozen, rereading the messages until the screen blurred. My hands were trembling. I wanted to scream. Confront her. Punch a wall. But I didn't. I took screenshots. All of them. Sent them to my own email. Then I calmly made dinner. She kissed me goodnight. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I waited until the kids left for school, and I told her I knew. She denied it at first. Then she started crying. Said it was a mistake and didn't mean anything. I asked if she loved him. She said nothing. And then, from the hallway, a voice, quiet, trembling. Our 15-year-old daughter, Sophie. I already knew. Cliffhanger. Sophie reveals she's known about the affair for months, and that there's more. Much more. Sophie stood in the hallway, arms crossed, eyes glassy but defiant. I wasn't supposed to know. I didn't mean to. But I heard them, on the phone, and then I saw them, together. I felt like the floor fell out from under me. You saw them? I asked. Where? Her voice cracked. At Uncle Ryan's house. I followed Mom one day after school. She said she was going grocery shopping. I watched her go into his house. I waited across the street. She didn't leave for 2 hours. Anna broke down crying again. You don't understand. Ryan was there for me when you weren't. My fists clenched. When I wasn't what, Anna? Working 60 hours a week to keep us afloat. She didn't respond. Sophie went on. That's not all. I didn't know how to tell you, but I think they're planning something. That stopped me cold. Planning what? She hesitated, then opened her phone. I saw something on Mom's laptop a few weeks ago. A document. I took a picture. She showed me a blurry photo of a spreadsheet titled Joint Account Transfers, Business. Ryan and I co-owned the company. Anna had no access to the business accounts. Or so I thought. I took the laptop, cracked the password, and found the spreadsheet. My stomach turned. $124,000 had been siphoned out of the business account over the last 6 months. Ryan's name was all over the transaction history. And somehow, Anna was connected to all of it. I looked at her, betrayal blazing in my chest. You stole from me? Anna wiped her face and whispered, You're not the only one with secrets. Cliffhanger. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, You should talk to your mother before accusing anyone. She's been lying to you for years. I drove to my mom's house in a daze. The woman who raised me after my dad died in a car accident when I was 6. The woman I trusted more than anyone. But Anna's words kept echoing in my mind. You should talk to your mother. She's been lying to you for years. Mom welcomed me with a warm smile. Coffee, she asked. No, I said. I need to ask you something. And I need the truth. Her face tightened. Did you know Anna and Ryan were having an affair? She froze. What? I have proof. And now Anna says you're hiding something too. What is it, Mom? She sat down slowly, took a deep breath, and said something that knocked the air out of my lungs. Your father didn't die in a car accident. He's alive. I stared at her, unable to process. You said he was killed on the highway. I lied. He left us. For another woman. He was gone one day, just like that. And I didn't want you growing up feeling abandoned. So I told you he died. I felt like I was falling through time. Everything I believed was unraveling. Where is he now? I don't know. I haven't seen him since he left, but I think Ryan has. I blinked. What the hell do you mean Ryan's seen him? She looked at me with guilt in her eyes. Ryan found out a few years ago. He met him. They've been in contact. I only found out when I overheard them arguing in the garage one Thanksgiving. My own brother had met the father who abandoned me and never said a word. The betrayal was layered. Twisted. I left my mother's house without another word. My hands shaking. My mind spinning. I needed answers. And I knew who had them. I showed up at Ryan's house that night, ready for war. He opened the door. Smirking. Figured you'd come. I stepped forward. You stole from me. Slept with my wife. And you're hiding my father from me. He didn't flinch. You're right, he said. But if you think that's the worst of it, You're not ready for what's next. Cliffhanger. Ryan hands me a manila envelope and says, "Open it. You'll finally understand why Anna and I did what we did, and why your whole life has been a lie." My fingers trembled as I opened the manila envelope Ryan handed me. Inside were two things, a birth certificate and a paternity test. The name on the birth certificate? Ryan Thomas Green, listed as my mother's biological son. And mine? My name was nowhere on it. The paternity test was newer, dated 6 months ago. My name and Ryan's side by side, tested as alleged siblings. Result, not related. I stared at him, feeling sick. "You're not my brother?" Ryan leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "No, I'm not. I found out when I got that test done after Mom slipped up. But I was the golden child, wasn't I? I ran the business with you. Shared the house at the lake. Shared your life. I was reeling. So why sleep with Anna? Why destroy everything?" His smile faded. "Because she was never yours either." The air left my lungs. He saw the look on my face and dropped the bomb. "You think Sophie's yours? Or Ethan? You might want to check that." I lunged at him, slammed him against the wall. "Shut the hell up." He didn't fight back. Just said, calmly, "Talk to Anna. Ask her who she was really with when Ethan was conceived. You'll want the truth before you start swinging." I drove straight home, heart racing, blood roaring in my ears. Anna was in the kitchen, wiping the counters like nothing had happened. I threw the test results on the table. She read them silently, then sat down. "I didn't know if it was ever going to come out," she whispered. "But, yes, there's a chance Ethan isn't yours." I felt like I was drowning. "No, not a chance. I want the damn test." She nodded. "I already took one. It came in yesterday. I just haven't opened it yet." She walked to the drawer, pulled out a sealed envelope, and handed it to me. I hesitated, hands trembling. I tore it open. Cliffhanger. The paper read, "Probability of paternity, 0%. Ethan is not my son." And at the bottom was the biological father's name. It wasn't Ryan. It was someone I hadn't heard from in 18 years. Ben Carlisle. My former best friend. The guy who vanished after sleeping with my girlfriend in college. Ben Carlisle. The name felt like a punch to the chest. He was the best friend I had in college, charismatic, wild, reckless. We were inseparable until he hooked up with Anna during a break she and I took in senior year. When I found out, I cut him off completely. A few months later, he ghosted everyone. Moved without a word. Gone. And now, all these years later, I find out he didn't just sleep with Anna. He fathered my son, the boy I raised for 12 years. Taught to ride a bike. Held when he cried. Tucked in every night. My knees buckled. I had to sit down. Anna sat across from me, silent, eyes red, hands shaking. "It was one night," she whispered. "We were on a break. I thought I'd never see you again. I didn't know I was pregnant until months later. You had already forgiven me. We were building a life. I didn't know for sure it was Ben's. I swear." I couldn't speak. My mouth was dry. My hands numb. "And Ryan?" I choked. "How long has that been going on?" She looked away. 3 years. 3 years. While I worked 60-hour weeks to provide, she was building a second life with my not brother. "And the money?" "I helped him," she said quietly. "Because he said he'd protect us. He said if you found out about Ethan, you'd destroy everything. That you'd never forgive me. That you might hurt him." I laughed. A hollow, bitter sound. "So instead you both stole from me?" She looked up with tears in her eyes. "I didn't want to lose the kids. I thought, if I gave him what he wanted, I could buy time." "And what did he want, Anna?" She hesitated, then finally said, "He wanted to ruin you. From the beginning." My chest tightened. I stood, walked out. I didn't know where I was going, only that I couldn't be in that house. I drove, and drove, until my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. A text. "You're not safe anymore. Meet me tomorrow. Don't trust anyone, not even your mother. B." Cliffhanger. Ben Carlisle isn't just back. He's been watching. And now, he says my mother is part of this nightmare too. The next morning, I sat in my car outside the abandoned diner where Ben told me to meet him. My heart was pounding. I hadn't seen or heard from him in nearly 2 decades. And now he was suddenly back, claiming I wasn't safe, and that my own mother was hiding something too. I wasn't sure what I expected, but when he walked in, it was like seeing a ghost. Older, thinner, more hardened. But it was definitely Ben Carlisle. He slid into the booth across from me like we were just old friends catching up. "I figured you'd come," he said. "You have 10 minutes, I snapped. He leaned in. You think Ryan is the one pulling the strings here? He's just a pawn. Your mother? Anna? They all kept you in the dark. But I tried to warn you back then. I stared. Warn me about what? That you knocked up my girlfriend and disappeared. He didn't flinch. You ever wonder why I left so fast after that? Why I cut off everyone? I stayed silent. Your mom came to me, he said slowly. Right after Anna told me she was pregnant. She begged me to disappear. Offered money. Said if I walked away and never told anyone, she'd make sure Anna and the baby were taken care of. Said the family name couldn't handle a scandal. I blinked. You're saying my mother knew Ethan wasn't mine, from the beginning? He nodded. She knew. She made it happen. She told Anna to lie. Told her you'd never forgive her, that it would destroy you. She paid me $50,000 to vanish. I felt like vomiting. Why are you telling me this now? Because she stopped paying. And because Ryan's trying to clean house. He wants control of the business. And your mom? She's dying. I froze. What did you just say? Ben lowered his voice. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. She only told a few people. Ryan's one of them. She's trying to set things right before she goes, but she's still playing everyone. You're not her biological son, remember? Why would she lie about all this? About me being adopted? Ben leaned back and looked me dead in the eye. Because you weren't supposed to inherit anything. You were the backup plan. I couldn't breathe. She changed her will, he said. Ryan found out. And now everyone's playing a dangerous game. My head was spinning. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about who I was a fabrication. And then Ben reached into his jacket and slid a flash drive across the table. Everything's on here. The emails, the will, the money trail. But you need to move fast. Ryan's already making moves. You think he's just after the company? He leaned in. He's after your kids. Cliffhanger. That night, I rushed home, and Ethan was gone. A note was left on his bed. You want him back? Bring the flash drive. Come alone. The note was scrawled in red ink, taped to Ethan's pillow like something out of a damn movie. You want him back? Bring the flash drive. Come alone. No police. I nearly collapsed. Sophie was sobbing in the hallway. I didn't hear anything. I swear I didn't hear anything. I scanned the house. No broken windows. No forced entry. It was like someone had just walked in and walked out. And the only people who had keys? Anna, Ryan, and my mother. My hands shook as I called Anna. No answer. Ryan? Straight to voicemail. I stared at the flash drive Ben had given me. The weight of it felt enormous in my palm. Everything was on it, proof of fraud, the altered will, secret bank accounts. If I handed it over, I lost my leverage. If I didn't, I might lose my son. Then my phone buzzed. Blocked number. I answered. Bring it to the lake house, Ryan's voice said. Calm. Too calm. Don't be late. And don't try anything stupid. The lake house. Our old family getaway. Where we used to go fishing, play cards, pretend we were a happy family. Now it was being used as a goddamn hostage site. I grabbed my keys. Ben called just as I was walking out the door. Don't go alone, he warned. You can't trust Ryan. I don't trust anyone, I said. It was dark by the time I reached the lake house. I killed the lights, crept up the back porch. Flash drive in my jacket. My heart threatening to explode. I opened the door. And there he was, Ethan. Sitting on the couch, tears streaking his cheeks. His hands weren't tied. He wasn't gagged. Just sitting. Staring. Then I saw her. Standing beside him. Pale. Steady. Calm. My mother. She turned to me, smiled softly. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. I froze. Where's Ryan? She stepped forward. He's gone. He doesn't matter anymore. You were the one I needed to protect from the start. I looked around. What the hell is going on? She exhaled deeply. You were never supposed to find out. Not about Ben. Not about Ethan. Not about who you really are. She reached into her coat and pulled out another envelope. Handed it to me. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside, a birth certificate. My real one. Name of biological parents. Benjamin Carlisle Sr. Margaret Green. I blinked. Ben was my half-brother? She nodded. I had you when I was barely 18, she said. My father forced me to give you up. Said the family couldn't take the shame. You were adopted by a couple who died in a car crash when you were 6. That's when I brought you back into my life. But I never told you the truth. I couldn't. Everything. Every lie. Every betrayal. It all came back to her. You've been controlling my life from the beginning, I whispered. And then, from behind me, a voice. I told you not to come alone. Ryan. Gun raised. Smiling. Cliffhanger. A shot rang out. One person dropped to the floor. And the lights went black. The gunshot echoed through the house like thunder. Sophie's face. Ethan's scream. My mother's gasp. And then I saw my mother, crumpled on the floor. A pool of blood spreading beneath her. Shot in the chest. Jesus Christ, Ryan muttered, backing up, his hand trembling. You shot her. I yelled, dropping to my knees, trying to press my hands to her wound. Her breathing was shallow, ragged. Mom. Stay with me. Stay with me. Her eyes fluttered, but she was still conscious. Barely. Not what Ryan started, but I stood up fast, rage burning through me. You came here to kill me. He didn't deny it. You were always in the way, he said. She promised me everything. The business. The estate. But then she changed the will for you. For her real son. The one she abandoned. What a joke. Ben was right. The will had changed. Everything had. He raised the gun again. Give me the flash drive. Now. I looked him in the eye. You're not walking out of here with anything. His hand trembled. He was unraveling. And then Ethan, my son, my heart, stepped between us. Put the gun down, he said. His voice cracked, but he didn't move. You don't want to do this. Ryan stared at him. At me. Then. He dropped the gun. Clattered to the floor. He ran out the door, into the woods. Disappeared into the night. I called 911. An ambulance. Police. My mother was barely hanging on when they loaded her into the stretcher. Before they closed the doors, she grabbed my hand. Pulled me close. There's a safe, she whispered. Behind the painting in the study. The real will, and the deed. What deed? I asked, panicked. But she was fading. Ryan. Forged the first one. Don't trust it. Her eyes closed. She was gone. The medics rushed her away. I drove straight back to her house. Broke in. Tore the painting off the wall. And there it was. A hidden wall safe. Inside, I found two things. The real will signed, dated, notarized. A property deed. One I'd never seen before. It wasn't for our house. Or the lake house. Or even anything local. It was for a massive estate in South Carolina. Worth millions. And it was in my name. Cliffhanger. Taped to the back of the deed was a note. 5 words, written in my mother's shaky handwriting. He was never after you. Who the hell was he after? The note haunted me. He was never after you. Then who was Ryan after? I stared at the deed to the South Carolina estate. According to the document, it had been purchased decades ago by my grandfather. Hidden under a shell corporation. Passed quietly down through my mother's will. Ryan had no idea it existed. And that scared me more than anything because someone else did. I drove back home as the sun rose. Sophie was asleep on the couch, clutching Ethan like she thought he'd disappear again. I watched them and wondered how much damage had already been done. How much more would come? Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A video message. I tapped it open. The video started with shaky footage of my mother, lying in a hospital bed. Oxygen tubes. Bruised lips. A camera facing her. Ryan's voice in the background. You sure you want to do this? He asks. She nods. They deserve the truth. My mother looks straight into the camera. And what she says next obliterates the rest of the life I thought I had. If you're seeing this, I'm likely gone. And I need to say this out loud. Ryan is not the villain here. Not fully. I am. My mouth went dry. I manipulated everything. From the day I took you back in. I kept your true parentage from you because I didn't want you tied to your biological father. He was abusive. Dangerous. And yes, it was Ben's father. She coughed. Continued. I used Ryan. I made promises I couldn't keep. When he started digging into the will, I panicked. I forged documents. Hid assets. Told Anna to keep him close. I never expected her to fall for him. My blood turned ice. She went on. Ben, he came back because I called him. I asked him to. To protect you. But now I don't know who's manipulating who anymore. And then her voice dropped into a whisper. There's one more person you need to ask questions of. Someone who's been in your life all along, quietly collecting pieces. The video ended. No name. No hint. I stood there, stunned, until the doorbell rang. I opened it slowly. Ben stood there, out of breath, bruised. He's not running anymore, he said. Ryan's done hiding. What are you talking about? He's planning to disappear. With someone. I stared at him. With who? Ben hesitated. Then said it. With Anna. She was never planning to stay. She's been working with him the whole time. This wasn't about revenge. I shook my head. No. No, she told me He cut me off. She's taking your money. Your company. And she's got access to everything now. I checked my phone. Bank alert. $68,400 withdrawn from our joint account. And a one-way plane ticket. To South Carolina. Cliffhanger. I opened our home safe where I kept the flash drive. Gone. A handwritten note sat in its place. You should have let the past stay buried. My hands were shaking as I read the note again. You should have let the past stay buried. Anna had taken the flash drive, the money, and left with Ryan for South Carolina, to a property they weren't even supposed to know existed. I felt like I was falling down a bottomless well. Every time I got a grip on the truth, another secret yanked me deeper. I called Ben. They're going to the estate. He cursed. They won't stop until they've taken everything. But why that estate? How did Anna even know it existed? My mother swore it was hidden, buried under layers of fake ownership. Then I remembered the hospital video, my mother's last words. There's one more person you need to ask questions of. Someone close. Quietly collecting pieces. I opened my laptop and searched through my mom's old emails. Most were benign, reminders, receipts, family photos. But one chain stood out. Dozens of emails with subject lines like documents delivered and verified signature received. All forwarded to the same person. Her estate lawyer. A woman named Karen Whitmore. Except Karen had died 2 years ago. So who was using her email address? I did a reverse lookup on the forwarding address. It was Anna. I sat back in my chair, cold horror creeping in. She had access to my mother's emails. My mother's lawyer. She had been forwarding estate documents to herself for months, even before the will was changed. She wasn't just in on this. She'd been orchestrating it. I confronted Ben with the emails. He didn't even look surprised. I told you she was never yours, he said. She's been playing this game longer than you think. She married you for the company. The name. Your mother promised her a stake in the inheritance years ago on one condition. What condition? He looked me dead in the eye. That she give up Ethan. That she let you raise him and never tell the truth. Everything clicked into place. Anna gave me Ethan so she could marry into the family, then stayed quiet for 12 years until the estate was about to change hands. She didn't just cheat. She sold her own son for money. And now, she and Ryan were headed to South Carolina to claim everything. But there was one last thing, one final shot I had. I called the notary whose stamp was on my mother's real will. Asked if there were any other documents signed that day. He hesitated. There was one more. Sealed. Your mother said it was to be opened only if the family tried to contest the will. He faxed it over. A second will. One even more recent. And in it, she didn't just name me as heir. She named a co-heir. Sophie. My daughter. The one person Anna couldn't manipulate. The one person who had been trying to protect me this whole time. But now I knew Anna would never let Sophie inherit a cent. Cliffhanger. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A video call. I answered, and Sophie was screaming. She'd been grabbed outside her school. Anna had taken her. The video feed was choppy, the audio distorted, but I could hear my daughter's voice crystal clear. Screaming. Crying. Sophie. The camera shifted, shaky footage of the inside of a car. Backseat. She was tied, duct tape on her wrists, tears streaming down her face. Then the feed cut to black. My phone buzzed again. A message followed. You want her back? Come to the estate. No cops. Bring the second will. You have 24 hours. Anna had her. My daughter. My co-heir. This wasn't about love, or betrayal, or even revenge anymore. It was about control. Power. Anna knew the second will cut her out completely. She also knew that if Sophie and I both claimed the estate, she and Ryan would be left with nothing. So they did what cowards do when they lose control. They took the only leverage left. Blood. I called Ben. Told him everything. He cursed so loudly I had to pull the phone away from my ear. They're going full scorched earth, he said. You bring the will, they're going to make sure neither of you walk away. We made a plan. Risky. Reckless. But it was the only shot. Before I left, I searched Sophie's room, desperate for anything she might have left behind. And that's when I saw it, her phone, hidden under her pillow. It had been recording. I hit play. The video started seconds before she was taken. She was walking home from school, filming a quick video message to her friend. Normal teenage stuff. Then, in the reflection of a car window behind her, I saw it. Not Anna. Not Ryan. Ben. He was behind her. Smiling. My stomach turned. I replayed it. Zoomed in. No mistake. Ben had taken Sophie. I felt sick. Betrayed all over again. I called him. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. Then a text came through. We're all liars, brother. You just never figured out who was the best one. B. Cliffhanger. As I stood there frozen, my phone rang one last time. Unknown caller. A deep, unfamiliar voice. We have your daughter. Ben works for us now. Bring the will or watch her die on live stream. I drove through the winding Carolina woods, every mile dragging me deeper into the nightmare. The estate appeared like something from a Southern Gothic fever dream, an old plantation-style mansion, shrouded in Spanish moss and secrets. The gates were wide open. They were expecting me. I had the second will tucked in a folder on the passenger seat, a gun in the glove box, and a weight in my chest I couldn't breathe through. The second I stepped out of the car, a man in black tactical gear motioned me forward. His face was covered, silent, just like the others flanking the property. This wasn't just a family betrayal anymore. This was an operation. Inside, the mansion was eerily quiet. Marble floors, velvet drapes, dusty chandeliers. Like no one had lived here in decades, yet everything was meticulously preserved. I was led to the main drawing room, and there she was, Anna, standing by the fireplace like she owned the place. You're late, she said coldly. Where's Sophie? She smiled. Safe for now. I threw the will at her feet. Here, the real one. Now let her go. She didn't move. This isn't a trade. This is a transition. You're out. Sophie's out. Ryan and I take over the estate. The business. Everything. And the men with guns? She shrugged. Security. From an investor. What investor? That's when another figure stepped into the room. Ben. But not the ragged, guilty man I'd seen before. He was dressed in a crisp suit. Clean-shaven. Calm. Hello, brother, he said. I took a step back. You were working with them the whole time. He tilted his head. You still don't get it. You were the fall guy from the start. You were never meant to be part of this. You kidnapped my daughter. She's not your daughter. Those words hit harder than any punch. She's the only decent thing I ever did, I said. And I'm getting her back. Ben glanced at Anna. He still doesn't know, does he? Her smile faltered. Don't. He turned to me. You're fighting for a girl who was never yours. Because you were never even who you thought you were. What the hell are you talking about? Ben walked over to a drawer, pulled out a folder, threw it on the table. I opened it. Photos. DNA results. One line that changed everything. Biological father of Sophie Green, Ryan Thomas Green. My legs nearly gave out. Anna's voice was a whisper. It was one night. I didn't know. I thought she was yours. Ben stepped closer. She's not yours. And now she's leverage. I reached for the gun in my jacket. But I was too slow. Anna raised hers first. I loved you once, she said softly. But you were never built for this world. Then the front door burst open. Gunfire. Screaming. Chaos. Sophie's voice cutting through it all. Dad. Cliffhanger. I turned toward her voice, just in time to see Anna raise the gun at Sophie. And then, a single shot. Someone dropped. But it wasn't Sophie. The gunshot rang out like thunder, and for one suspended moment, time shattered. I turned, heart in my throat, expecting the worst. But it wasn't Sophie who fell. It was Ben. He staggered backward, eyes wide with shock, blood blooming across his chest. He dropped to his knees, then crumpled. Anna had shot him. Get out of the way, she snarled, stepping over his body, still pointing the gun at Sophie. I told you, this ends with me. I dove between them. Shoot me, I said, breathless. Do it. But you're not touching her. Sophie was crying behind me. Dad. Anna's hands trembled. Everything I did, she whispered, was for survival. For my son. For me. You were just the safe option. You used everyone. I spat. You lied, cheated, stole, sold your own child's future. She blinked, and for a brief second, I saw something behind her eyes. Regret? Or just the weight of everything unraveling? Then another gunshot. But this one didn't come from Anna. It came from the doorway. Ryan. Bleeding. Limping. Pistol in hand. He'd been shot in the leg during the chaos, but he still pulled himself in. And now, he shot Anna. She gasped. Looked down at the blood soaking through her blouse. Looked up at Ryan in disbelief. You loved me. I did, he said. But I loved the money more. Anna dropped, lifeless. Ryan turned to me, eyes wild. It was never supposed to go this far. I was going to cut her out. Take Sophie. Disappear. I held Sophie behind me. You're not leaving with anyone, I growled. But Ryan's gun was still up. That's when a voice crackled through a walkie on the floor near Ben's body. A man's voice. Status report. Did we secure the will? Another shot. This one from behind Ryan. Straight through the head. He dropped instantly. A man in a dark suit stepped forward from the hallway. Older. Calm. Military posture. I'll take that, he said, plucking the will folder from the ground. Who the hell are you? I asked. He smiled faintly. The real investor. You can call me Mr. Harper. Your mother worked for me, once. She was supposed to keep this property hidden. But she got sentimental. Made you heir? That made things complicated. I backed up, pulling Sophie with me. What do you want? He gave me a once-over. Nothing. Not anymore. The estate is too exposed. Your mother's death, the bodies, the inheritance trail, it's all dirty now. He dropped the will into the fireplace. Watched it burn. You have nothing left worth stealing. Then he turned and walked away, as if he hadn't just witnessed a bloodbath. I collapsed onto the floor, Sophie clinging to me, sobbing. For bodies lay around us. Anna, Ben, Ryan, and the future we were supposed to have. Cliffhanger. As police sirens approached in the distance, Sophie looked up at me and whispered, Dad, there's something I didn't tell you. I looked at her, barely able to breathe. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a tiny USB drive. I copied everything before she took it. Mom didn't know. And just like that, we had the final key. The sirens were deafening as they pulled up the estate's long drive. Red and blue lights washed over the trees, the blood, the broken bodies. I sat on the marble floor of the mansion, cradling Sophie. My arms ached. My soul felt gutted. But she was alive. That was all that mattered. The police stormed the property. Guns raised. Shouts echoing. Then, like a curtain falling, everything went quiet. I gave my statement. Told them everything. Every horrific, impossible truth. Anna, Ben, Ryan, even Mr. Harper. The secret will. The kidnapping. The murders. They didn't believe half of it. But Sophie's video recording, the bodies, the emails from Anna's fake law account, and the USB sheets saved, that changed everything. On that drive were copies of the estate documents. The real will. Financial trails. Security footage Anna had pulled and stupidly saved of private meetings. Proof of extortion, fraud, and collusion between Anna, Ryan, and even Ben. And one final folder, something even I hadn't seen. A video confession from Anna. It was dated 2 weeks before the estate drama exploded. She looked tired, pale, frantic. If anything happens to me, I want the truth known. I did what I had to do. But I wasn't alone. I was being blackmailed. Not by Ryan. Not by Ben. But by Harper. He knew about the South Carolina estate. He used me to get access. If I didn't cooperate, he said he'd ruin me. Take Ethan. Take Sophie. Everything. I never stopped loving him, the man I married. But I didn't know how to undo the damage. I'm so sorry. I watched it alone that night, after Sophie was asleep in the hospital bed beside me. She'd saved me. She'd saved us. 2 weeks later, the dust settled. The will was reinstated, the rightful version. My mother's estate was mine, and Sophie's, per the law. The company was saved. Ryan's embezzlement trail secured the fraud charges. Harper vanished. No one ever found him. And Ben? Dead and buried in a closed-casket funeral. The man who was my brother. My enemy. And, in a twisted way, the only person who ever tried to warn me. But it wasn't over. Not yet. I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside, a photo. A child. Dark hair. Bright eyes. Ethan. And a handwritten note. He's safe. When he's old enough, he'll know who you are. For now, it's better this way. Hey, I don't know how she did it. Or where she sent him. But somehow, Anna made sure Ethan was spared. I'll never forgive her. But a small part of me understood. Epilogue. What remains? Sophie and I moved. Far from the estate. Far from the ghosts. We kept the company. We kept the truth. And we kept each other. Some days I wake up wondering if any of it was real. If the love I thought I had was ever true. If family means anything, when lies built the foundation. But when I hear Sophie laugh, when I see her strength, her resilience, I know, this story didn't end the way I thought it would. But maybe, just maybe, It ended the way it was supposed to.